I see that we have our zoning plans examiner, Wes Menzel here. Welcome, Wes.
Good morning.
Morning. And someone under the name Angelo, looks like this could be the applicant.
Correct. Yes, I'm here.
Great. Angelo, you expect anyone else to join us here today?
No, I'm not.
Okay, great. If you could do me a favor, we do ask that everyone activates their camera during these hearings.
Not sure how to do it, David. It looks like I have to stop video.
Yeah, usually if you hit that, if there's like a red line through that.
There was no red line through it.
Gotcha. Nothing covering your camera, I take it.
No.
If there's a little up arrow on that stop video to the top right of that, it has some settings.
Integrated webcam, choose virtual background, video settings.
So there's only one option for a camera that you're seeing there.
Yeah, it says
webcam.
integrated webcam.
Okay. Are you using a computer?
I'm using a computer. You want me to join with, I've got my iPhone in front of me.
Yeah, let's try that. That usually works a little bit. Thanks.
No problem. That just requested to be joined in.
Got it. And there, you're gonna have an echo here, but once you connect to this audio.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, you've got me now.
Yep. All right, great. Just make sure you stay on mute on the phone, otherwise we'll get some feedback. All right. And Angela, you are the applicant, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, so now you're off mute on the phone and you're getting there we go. Just stay on mute on the iPhone.
Okay, perfect.
Great. Fantastic. And let's see. Are you expecting anyone else to join us here today?
No, I'm not.
Okay. All right. Give me 1 minute. We'll get started here. I need to read through our hearing script, which will basically just cover the procedure for the hearing, and then we'll jump right into it. So this is the March 8th, 2023 session of the zoning hearing examiner docket. My name is David Sturkey. I'm the zoning hearing examiner for the city of Cincinnati. The case before us today is case number ZH20230014. The purpose of this hearing is to allow applicants and any potential opposing parties to testify and to offer and refute evidence and testimony. This hearing will follow the rules found in the zoning code and the supplemental rules of the zoning hearing examiner. All testimony and evidence that an applicant or any opposing party wishes to offer must be presented at this hearing. The hearing will proceed as follows. The applicant, the applicant's attorney, or the applicant's agent will first present the applicant's case. The public, if there were anyone here from the public, would then have an opportunity to present after the applicant had presented its case. We'll hear from the zoning plans examiner, Wes Menzel. And then in the event that any party does testify or offer argument in opposition to this application, the applicant will have an opportunity to rebut that testimony and or argument. And then finally make any closing statements. So for our purposes here today, we'll hear from the applicant. Tell me about the project, any background you think is important before I make a decision on the case. Of course, why you think I should grant the relief that's requested. We'll hear from Wes Menzel. You can respond to anything he said. I'll have some questions along the way. You can make any final comments and then we'll wrap it up. After all presentations have been made, I'll close the hearing. Decisions may be expected within 2 weeks. I may limit or exclude any testimony that I deem irrelevant or outside the scope of the application being considered. I may interrupt any speaker to ask questions or to make any comments. In the event of any technical difficulties, as we've already seen a little bit here today, I'll do my best to troubleshoot those on the fly, but to the extent there's some defect that prevents us from meaningfully going forward with this hearing, I may continue or postpone the hearing at my discretion. Okay, last thing I need to do is just swear in all of our witnesses. So if you intend on providing any testimony here today, the zoning code does require that you are sworn in. So if that's you, if you could just raise your right hand. I need everyone to answer out loud. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Yes.
Okay, great, fantastic. All right, is it Pusateri? Could you tell me how to pronounce
Correct,
your
yeah,
last name?
Angelo Pusateri.
Pusateri, okay, great. Are you ready to proceed?
Yes, I am.
All right, floor is yours.
So David, what we're working on here is a a front porch addition at a property on Beverly Hill. The property was currently set up with a front balcony, which protruded into the front yard setback. That front yard setback was determined by averaging within 300 feet in both directions of the home. The home actually sits outside of the underlying zoning front yard setback, so it would be acceptable if not for that averaging requirement. We're doing it primarily for aesthetic purposes. The balcony was a dated, an undesirable look for our homeowners. So we presented this porch idea, which took us into a different level of zoning code. So the balcony is still there, and a new roof has been added through the permit process onto the balcony, giving a more of a porch look. That is all acceptable. However, as soon as we add columns underneath of this balcony, it converts from a balcony, which is allowed to protrude up to 2.5 feet into the setback, to a porch, which is not allowed to step into that setback. So what we're looking to do is just kind of finalize the project, adding the porch columns underneath the balcony, which will convert it from a balcony to a porch. And that's what we're seeking relief on.
Gotcha. Okay. And so then obviously the columns won't extend out further than what is already there with the balcony and the landing in front of the house, right?
That's correct. Yes.
Okay. All right. And I'm looking at the staff report on page 4, Wes, and it looks like in the drawing there, it doesn't look like the balcony is still there. Is that am I just like misinterpreting how that looks? Is that meant to the white row in the middle? Is that supposed to just be the fence?
I think they're just building the sloped roof to encompass the balcony. So the balcony is no longer usable. Is that?
That's correct, Wes. Yeah. So the balcony can no longer be walked out onto. So we've changed it from a flat roof to I think we have a shed roof with a little dormer off the front of it.
Got it. Okay. That's what I thought.
So those lines you're seeing, those actually depict a metal roof structure.
Got it. Okay. That makes sense. All right. I don't think I have any more questions right now.
Okay.
Wes, anything you wanted to add in addition to your staff report?
Not really. Just the fact that the columns support the porch roof changes the analysis of the setbacks, as Angelo mentioned. So that's the only, kind of reason that we're here. But the porch proposal and roof proposal, there's no sidewalls or anything. So there's no blocking of anybody's views. The design aesthetics are improved, and we concluded there's no adverse effects on anybody. So I'll just leave it at that. Okay,
great. And so the old was the balcony considered when doing the setback previously, or was that grandfathered in?
Can't tell exactly, but I think the balcony either projected just slightly into the setback or was conforming, but because the variance they're requesting is 2 feet, so to the porch column.
Yeah, I think the balcony slightly, with a couple feet went into the setback.
And that would be an allowed projection, like originally.
Got it. Yeah. Got it. Okay. Okay.
And the balcony is actually still there. So that was the structural load. We just added the roof on top of it.
Gotcha. So these columns are actually going to be further set back than the roof.
That's probably 8 inches or so back.
Gotcha.
It's kind of a
sure
beam that runs there, and they sit underneath the beam, but then you have the slight soffit and gutter that goes out in front of those columns.
Got it. Okay. I don't have any more questions. Is there anything in closing or otherwise you'd like to say before we adjourn here today?
No, I think I've said it all.
Okay, great. Yeah, I've had a chance to review the application materials, the staff report. And based on that and based on the testimony I've heard here today, I think it would be impractical to strictly enforce the zoning code on this particular project. And so I'm going to grant the requested relief. I need to formalize that approval in a written decision. I mentioned at the beginning that those typically take about 2 weeks. I'll do everything I can to get that to you sooner. But as soon as I finish that written decision, I will put it into a PDF and I email it to you.
Okay.
Really just as so you'll have it like moments after it's complete. As soon as you have that PDF decision, you can work with Wes and he can approve all the permitting from a zoning perspective.
Okay, excellent.
Great. Any questions about any of that or anything else?
Well,
today?
actually, let me ask a question for Wes. Is there anything to now permit, Wes? Is the addition of columns, is that something we take back through?
Yes, you'll need to get a building permit for that and the roof, you know,
Okay.
so you can apply for that now. And by the time,
Okay,
like I can't formally approve it till David writes his letter, but
okay,
your building code reviewers can start on it and it can just sit in my to-do list till David sends us the
well,
PDF.
I guess you know we already permitted and approved the roof structure. So
Okay.
that's already permitted and complete. These
Oh.
truly are just they're not structural. They really are just aesthetic additions that are going to be set in place now that we have this approval. But everything else was permitted and inspected.
I still kind of think you probably need to get a permit to show all that just in the formal record or whatever, but
Okay,
or do a revision. I don't know. I guess you have to talk to a building code reviewer because they're the more
okay,
relevant reviewer in this case. But as far as that, could maybe do a revision or an engineering change. That's
do
what
an
we should
engineering
probably
change.
do
Okay,
to the original permit.
okay,
And then I can sign off on it on that as well.
okay. So we'll get that put together with our
Yeah.
architect designer.
Okay,
Great, thanks,
great.
guys.
Well, no problem. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to either of us. And I think
Yeah.
that's it.